Welcome back to episode 9, my friends. This was a very complex episode. We've got a lie detector test, lots more very intense backstories from the guys, and a failed 2-on-1 date, but nobody gets naked. Almost, but not quite. So we start back off with the 2-on-1, and remember we left off with Tayshia saying, "What's in the box?" She didn't ever really get that answer, at least Bennett wasn't willing to tell her exactly what was in there. And maybe that's because he really thought it was just an intimate thing just between him and Noah. So here in this conversation, I have to again question Bennett's degree, because Noah calls him out for saying, "You told me there was a 100% chance that I was never going to end up with Tayshia." And Bennett goes, "Whoa, wait. I said a 0% chance." So that means they'll definitely end up together. Noah didn't catch that, but I did, so I had to point it out. And now, according to this show, Bennett doesn't know math, he doesn't know how to spell, and he doesn't know percentages. So Tayshia decides to talk to Bennett first. A little bit of tension here, and Tayshia accuses Bennett of questioning her integrity based off the fact that he doesn't think she'll end up with Noah. So I didn't totally agree with her on this. I get where she's coming from, but I don't really think it's a question of integrity. The bottom line is it's all just very silly drama and red flaggy. So she's got to get to some conclusion. And I don't know why I didn't realize it before, but I'm realizing it now that Bennett is very one tone, almost emotionless. Even when he makes jokes, it's one tone. I'm so sorry, Tayshia. Noah, you are deficient in emotional intelligence. Would you like to hear a yo mama joke? He didn't say that, but if he did, that's what it would sound like. Kind of like Sheldon on The Big Bang. So he makes his final Hail Mary statement by saying, like, "No, I would never question you. You got this, Tayshia. You got it in the bag, man." And then she moves on to Noah. Definitely a different vibe here in this conversation. I think just because there's a different dynamic in their relationship altogether. But she calls him out for being the common denominator with all the drama, which it's true. I mean, I don't think he meant to cause drama. Maybe sometimes he did. But the Bennett-Noah stuff I think is a little bit ridiculous. And Noah's description here of Bennett, I feel, was pretty spot on. Downplays his insults or anything that he says things in a very condescending way. Yeah, like that is Bennett to a T. And I don't know if he realizes that's what he's doing. There's something weird with Bennett. But then Noah starts crying. And he claims it's because he just doesn't want Tayshia to end up with somebody like him, because he might end up treating Tayshia like he treats everybody else. But I think if we're being honest, the tears are coming from a spot of desperation in his soul. Like, please don't send me home. Please give me a rose. But that's that. And now Tayshia's got to think about it. And she thinks about it, and now she's back. So she picks up the rose and decides she's not going to give it to anybody. But a quick plot twist. Bennett's still going home. So no, I'm not going to give the rose out, but I am going to kick someone out. And their goodbye, one tone. And slightly freaky, because the whole time they're walking out together towards the car, Bennett is staring at her. Like taking steps, not looking where he's going, and staring at Tayshia. I feel like proficiency in emotional intelligence would indicate that people don't like to be stared at. But ultimately, Bennett's very confused, sad that it happened, but wishes her well and leaves with integrity. It was a solid goodbye from Bennett. Tayshia, I thought, was a little bit cold. Maybe because she didn't know what to say, and probably didn't know what to say because the producers forced her into this decision. She even says behind the scenes that it didn't feel right sending him home. Felt right to me, but not to Tayshia. And when she comes back in to see Noah, who is popping Tic Tacs, by the way, because he's expecting to get some lovin's, she sees he's got a big smile on his face, and she just puts an end to that real quick. No smiling. She is still not happy with him. So even though Noah is still here, he is on very thin ice. Then all the rest of the guys come out, and they realize Bennett went home, and they seem to be happy, or not happy, more like kind of neutral-ish. I don't know. Ultimately, I think they're just happy that hopefully now the drama has subsided, because one of them's gone. So we finally get a cocktail party. Tayshia is sharing some anniversary cake with her boyfriend, Riley. She's looking at wedding pictures with her husband, Zach. Just very normal night. And then we get to the rose ceremony. And of course, the big question here is Noah going to stay? Well, of course he does. So the fact that he stays tells me that her not giving him the 2-on-1 rose was like quite the warning there. I am the lioness, and you are the gazelle. please understand your position on the food chain. So the go-homer, we've got 3 go-homers today. We've got Spencer, who went home, which started out with a lot of screen time, and as the season progressed, he literally had none. I almost forgot that he was there. Ed also goes home, which, sorry, Ed. They made you look like a goob. It was only a matter of time. And Damar, who I actually liked. We didn't see a lot of him either, but he seemed nice. But now we can get the show started. And finally, with only 7 people left, there is more than enough room on the couch for everyone to have a seat. Host JoJo comes out and lets us know that next week it's hometowns. So this week is super important. The guys are freaking out. Zach starts crying. And this was not just like a couple little tears. He was like... that kind of cry. It's getting real. We get our first date card, and it's a one-on-one, and it's going to Ben. And the date card says, falling in love is full of surprises. And I would have loved this date. They're basically riding electric scooters throughout the whole resort. They're on like a scavenger hunt, trying to find hints that will lead them to JoJo's little oasis. The oasis ended up not being that awesome. I was hoping for like some sort of like a private beach. Didn't happen. They basically ended up on a bench, but whatever. So all these little riddles lead them places. They end up in the tennis courts. They are whacking a bunch of piñatas, take their pants off and go in a fountain. Actually, Ben's the only one that takes his pants off, but now we know what kind of underwear guy he is. Boxer briefs, I think. But now we get to the dinner portion. And what's Tayshia wearing? She's wearing a beautiful sparkly black dress. It was nice. But right as I'm analyzing her outfit, Ben comes out and says, you know, everybody loves your dresses, but I always look at the shoes, which is very funny. I think he was addressing me directly. How did you know that I'm always paying attention to Tayshia's dresses, Ben? How did you know that? But anyway, this part of the show gets very intense. Ben reveals, for what I believe is the first time ever, that he had 2 failed suicide attempts. Yeah, I just jumped right into that. He did have a story that led up to that. Basically, he was in the military. He had this need to be perfect kind of stuff. But yeah, it's clear that he's doing extremely well now, but he did have a very dark time. And what's crazy, he says his sister is the one that saved his life. Meanwhile, she doesn't know any of this. Like, all of this news is brand new to her. I wonder if they were like watching that together and how that panned out. And also, what kind of emotions is she dealing with right now? But he, I guess, was able to confide in her about his struggles. And without her even knowing it, she saved his life. Brought him back to the light, so to speak. Oh, and I don't mean to make light of this, but did anybody see Ben's hands? Because they're huge. I'm not trying to imply anything there. I'm just making an observation. But yes, he shares that very intimate story with Tayshia, and she, like the angel that she always is, handles it with grace, compassion. I gotta say, her and Claire, both of them, she and Claire, sorry, proper English, are very good at listening to these men and their struggles. I appreciate that kind of thing. So, yeah. And so, by the end of it, Ben gets the first hometown date rose, which, how is this going to work? Hometowns. They haven't been allowed to travel anywhere, so are they going to hometowns? Will there be quarantine, 6 feet, masks, hand washing? What are we going to do to avoid having a portion of the community be up in arms about all this? Oh yeah, and they finish the date, you know, with their typical, oh yeah, let's dance to this musician that nobody's ever heard of before. But for the very first time, I feel like I'll actually look into this guy. I liked his voice. I liked his song. That was a win for the show in the music department. Not listen to your heart. That was not a win. Then we get the announcement for the group date, and the only person not on it is Blake, which means he gets the second one-on-one. Zach, for some reason, is bummed out that he did not get the one-on-one. You just had one last week. Get out of here with that. Riley has not even had a one-on-one. He's not complaining. I'm done with that. But yes, okay, group date time. The date card said something about like, are you truly falling in love? I might have completely messed that up. But it's the lie detector test date. And JoJo is hooking up all of the guys to the polygraph machine and asking some very tough questions. Tayshia hooks herself up as well, just to level the playing field. And she was honest with all of her questions, except when JoJo asked her if she regretted sending anybody home. Tayshia says no, but the polygraph could not determine whether or not it was a lie. So, Bennett. Then we have some other notable things. So, Riley apparently lies about his name. Zach has cheated on somebody. Ivan has had a Woody in Tayshia's presence, and Noah misses his mustache. Some very important things here, and consequently, Tayshia has some interrogation to do at the cocktail party. So she decides to talk to Zach first, because Zach is a cheater. She sits him down and goes on and on about how serious cheating is to her, how she will never tolerate it, brings up how raw it is because of her previous marriage. All of this just to find out that Zach cheated on his 6th grade girlfriend with some bimbo at the Bolorama. So now Tayshia is all happy again. You know what I do wonder though? Could that potentially be a lie detector cover up? You know, like, yes, he did cheat on his 6th grade girlfriend, but could there be some other cheating in there and he only shared one instance? Just saying it's possible. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. There might not be a doubt. There's a little bit of a doubt. And I'm going to give him the benefit of that. But I don't fully trust him. I don't know why. Just my gut. But they're falling in love with each other, they say to each other. And then we obviously have to talk about Riley, because who lies about their name? So here comes another stinking intense story. This show has become so emotionally exhausting, and it's making it a lot harder to pick on people. So Riley used to be named Dwayne. His father named him that, and they had a great relationship. Time progresses, and relationship not so great anymore. Finds out his father wasn't that great of a person. Riley at some point was not a great person to his mother because of what his dad told him. Basically, rocky relationship with his parents, and Riley was not proud of the way that he treated them, is what I took from that. So basically, in a nutshell, he changes his name kind of as a symbol of restarting, just getting a fresh start at life and to become a better man. So when he lied about his name, he technically did lie, but also didn't lie. I'm sure that makes sense. But that's that. And he is feeling rejuvenated and renewed and just like so happy that he shared that story, and he is ready to meet the fam. So at this group date, whoever she gives the rose to is the second one who's getting a hometown. Unfortunately, she comes out and shares, I'm not giving this rose out because I can't make a decision yet, which I understand because this was like a very meaningful night. All of these conversations, besides Noah's, were very important, which was shocking because I felt like maybe one person in there, she was like really confident she'd go meet their families, like Brendan maybe, and he didn't even get the rose. So also, this means if Blake gets the rose on his one-on-one, 3 of those guys on the group date are going home. Oh, this is where I start to get sad for these guys. This is that point in the season. Not Noah, but the other guys. So Tayshia, leaving confused, obviously, because she's got all of these great guys that she has to choose from, gets a little bit of a roadblock here because, suddenly she runs into, guess who? Bennett. And just like every villain in the Hallmark movies, he's coming back for restitution. He is taking back what belongs to him. He didn't use any of that language, but come on. I'm emotionally intelligent enough to know what's going on here. So now, of course, they have to talk. So they're sitting down. Bennett's apologizing again and assuring her he has not questioned her integrity. Their goodbye didn't make any sense at all. And he had just so much more to share with her. And in leaving, in that moment, he realized he loves her. And Bennett just continues to get more and more baffling. He said he loved her without any hesitation. Still very one tone, but no hesitation. I think he might be beneath the skin is a robot. Essentially, from this conversation, Bennett wants to come back. And Tayshia is now trying to make a decision on what to do. Tayshia, can I help you? I will help you. 3 roses, 7 men to choose from. Don't give one of them to Bennett. You will thank me. But she's still debating it. My thought is she's going to be like, yeah, okay, come back because you're putting me in quite the position right now and I don't want it to act impulsively. So come back. Then I'm going to send you home just to make sure I'm making the right decision. Although I would love to meet his family. But Tayshia likes that he, showed up at her doorstep because he wants to fight for her. And if I was, mildly attracted to somebody and they, did that gesture for me, then I might be like, maybe, yeah, that's pretty cool. But then again, Ivan Bennett, Brendan Bennett. Then, previews. By the way, just a heads up, whenever there are 2 episodes in 1 week, I can only do 1 recap. That's really all I can handle. So only expect 1 next week, and probably the following week, I think, is going to be the finale. 1 recap. But anyway, previews. Tayshia cries at 2 different occasions. Brendan cries at least once. Bennett is back in some capacity. Again, I think just for the rose ceremony. And then there are quick previews of the Men Tell All. Jason is back, and so is Noah. Noah is at the Men Tell All. Not a spoiler. It's just there in the previews. for everyone to see. So he doesn't get picked. I think we knew that would happen, just like Bennett knew it would happen, but now we really know. And that's it. This is going to be the fastest climax of a season, I think, ever. Literally last week, we had 12 guys. Now we're down to 7. Next week, we'll be down to 3. And then it's the finale. Pretty sure this is Tayshia's 5th week total. And she is about to get engaged. Or is she? Okay, I'm done now. Thank you for watching. And I will see you guys next week.